Brother lads, welcome back to the Kosi Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. Today is the day Arsenal take on Manchester United in the first leg of the Premier League. Obviously, like I said yesterday, we have drawn them in the third round of the FA Cup. So we have a lot of Manchester United Arsenal action this season. By the way, we have the second leg of the Premier League. So don't worry, if you miss this one, there is still a lot of action for you to catch up on to. However, for us that are going to watch the game, for us that are going to enjoy this one, Mikel Arteta has given us a full comprehensive, team news update about Calafiori, about Gabriel, about Merino, about Thomas Partey, and tonight we are going to see a semi-full Arsenal team. There are a few players that I believe won't be available, Ricardo Calafiori being one of them, but of course we're going to get into the words of the manager and my prediction and preview for the Arsenal-Manchester United game. The first thing I want to say before we get into Mikel Arteta's press conference is that this game is a 60% win for Arsenal. And I don't want to hear anyone saying Manchester United, turn up against Arsenal or this and that. Last season, Manchester United lost home and away against Arsenal. And this season, it should not be any different. They're not yet back. They're not yet better. It's going to take them some time. I think for them to get their first point against Mikel Arteta now under Ruben Amorim, that should be next season but one. This Arsenal team is, we have spent a lot more time in the making, in the oven, and we should be stronger and better and harder than Manchester United are. And I think if you've seen Ruben Amorim's words about this Arsenal team and what they expect out of the game, he's actually said there are a few times where we'll be exposed tonight, and we pray that, despite the fact that that happens, we are not blown away. And that shows you that they're not coming in this game as a confident lot. They're not coming into this game as a confident batch. They're coming into this game thinking, can we do something against this Arsenal side? But even if we don't, it doesn't really matter. And of course, Manchester United have not lost a game in their last three, drawing one against Ipswich, beating Everton 4-0, and also beating Bordeaux by 3-2. The common theme and the recurring theme in their games is they're really, really vulnerable to a high press. And we saw that against Everton in the first 20-30 minutes. Everton should have been like 2 goals up. I mean, they are coached by Sean Dyche. Scoring problems is always going to be a problem. Scoring goals is always going to be a problem. But Manchester United are really poor when it comes to building out from the back, and the manager they have is really, really strong on them building out from the back. That is one of the things that Arsenal are going to have to exploit tonight. The other thing is that it's inevitable they will concede. Now, they didn't concede a goal in the last game against Everton, but when you look at the goals they conceded against Bordeaux, and you look at the goal they conceded against Ipswich, and the chances they are actually conceding, what is worrying for them is not the amount of goals they are conceding, but the amount of chances and the quality of chances they are actually conceding. And why that's a big worry is that against a team like Arsenal, Arsenal is such a good team, I would say. We are miles above Everton, we are miles above Ipswich, and we are miles above, Bordeaux. So if you're conceding such quality chances against those blocks, if you concede the same chances against a defensively, solid Arsenal, but also a very, very sharp attack, it means that you're going to concede 3 and above, and you might not be able to score, the 3 to actually counter the number of goals that you've conceded. So for me, the game plan today should be take the game to Manchester United. That is what I want. Take the game to Manchester United. Let them feel the pressure. By the end of the first 45 minutes, let it be Manchester United 0, Arsenal 2. By the end of the 90 minutes, let it be Arsenal 3, Manchester United maybe 1. So my prediction is Arsenal 3, Manchester United 1. I think they will score. I don't think this Arsenal team has, given me enough reason to say, there's no team that can score against us. I think teams can score against us, and they've done this season. But I think with Man United, without Lisandro Martinez, without Kobe Mainu, they'll be missing something. I'm going to say we win this one 3-1 and we move on to the next game. I mean, if I'm wrong, that would be a very, very catastrophic, prediction. But I don't think I'm wrong. Now, Mikel Arteta has been speaking ahead of the game. He's been talking about injuries. He's been talking about the game plan and the momentum we need for December, as we've lost a couple of points that were unnecessary. And the first thing he was talking about was injuries of Thomas Partey, Merino, Ricardo Calafiori, and Gabriel. And he said, we're going to have another meeting in the afternoon. We're going to do another training session. And we have monitored and kept away from certain activities. After the meeting, we will decide if everyone is fit and available and who will start. So we don't have bad injuries. Gabriel, Calafiori, Merino, those were not bad injuries. Yes, they missed the West Ham game, but they were not bad injuries. And according to the manager, they have restrained from some activities just to protect the players. But most of them should be okay, and most of them should be all right to play in this upcoming game. Of course, it's a very important game for you to have your best players around, especially Partey, especially Gabriel, especially Ricardo Calafiori. You want a full house, you want a full team, against Manchester United. They've always been stubborn, and they're not going to stop now. On drawing Manchester United in the FA Cup third round, Mikel said, that's the thing about draws. You can get anybody. We play at home. It's going to be a big, big match again. And it's a little bit of the story of the last few seasons in the third or fourth round. We are playing big opponents, but we want to do what we have done historically at this club. And in the end, you have to beat the big teams to win it. It is what it is, and we are excited to take on Manchester United. I tell you this, even back in the days when United were under Ferguson and they were so good, and Arsenal were not even, comparable to them, right? I always wanted a Manchester United Arsenal fixture. Like, it just makes football have meaning when Arsenal play Manchester United. I don't think there is a game on this continent that people love as Arsenal Manchester United. Well, there's Chelsea Liverpool, there's Chelsea Arsenal, there's Manchester City, who have drawn themselves into the mix now. Manchester City Arsenal, Manchester City Man United. But whenever Arsenal play Man United, there is that different feeling. And the fact that we have drawn them in the FA Cup third round, it's another opportunity for us to get our revenge. They beat us 8-2. I don't think we'll ever beat them 8-2, but the more times we beat them, the more it will hurt. I think Manchester United last had what you'd say proper joy against Arsenal a couple of years ago. So ever since they come into this fixture, they come with a seed of doubt, and that seed of doubt turns into reality when we beat them. Like I said last season, we won at the Old Trafford. We also won at the Emirates. And this season, it shouldn't be any different. I expect Manchester United to lose 3 out of 3 games they play Arsenal this season without any excuses. Mikel Arteta was talking about Ruben Amorim and, facing Ruben Amorim again. Actually, we've played him again, of course, right? We played him before. We played him before at Sporting, and he did a job on us. And Mikel says, well, you can see his fingerprints already on the club. You know what he wants to do straight away. I think he's been very clear. He's been very successful with Sporting. It's a remarkable thing he's done for so many years, what he has achieved there, especially in the way he did it and the way his teams have been playing. He brings energy to the club, the players, new ideas, and that's always something positive, but we have to focus on what we have to do and not Ruben Amorim. The 2 times we played Sporting, that was in the Europa League, was it quarterfinal? I think quarterfinal, right? They did a job on us. Like, they did a job on us. I have never been suffocated while watching football the way I was suffocated when we were watching Sporting Arsenal. Like, they came with one job: make it difficult, make it uncomfortable, make it uneasy for Arsenal. And I think the level of discipline that Sporting players have doesn't exist in this Manchester United lot. The level of consistency throughout the 90 minutes that the Sporting players had then, it doesn't exist in this Manchester United block. So I really think at the end of the day, Arsenal will tire Manchester United down. Now, this might not be, the glamorous performance that people want, because Man United might come to make things tough and difficult. But at the end of the day, Amorim must remember, this is not Sporting, this is Manchester United, a washed Manchester United. They asked Mikel whether it's going to be about revenge, because they kicked us out of the Europa League in 2023. And he says, no, it's not about that. It's always about another opportunity and whether you have beaten them or lost against any opponent in the end. It's going to be very different to the past. We've learned a lot. We've played against Sporting a few days ago, and it was very different 2 years ago. So, no, it has no meaning to revenge. On avoiding the results that we had in December last season, he says, we hope to have that. We hope to avoid them. Obviously, the schedule and certain circumstances that we had, we have to adapt to that. We still competed really we didn't. We still competed really well, but we didn't have the consistency that we actually wanted. We are in a good run. We have good momentum again now, and we have a big, beautiful match tonight. The results that we shared or we picked up in December last year lost the title. The results that Arsenal picked up at the beginning of this season must be bettered by December, January, and Feb for us to say, hell yeah, we almost lost the title, but here we are again. Now, of course, it massively depends on Liverpool. Let me show you this. Let me tell you this. If Liverpool lose one game every single month, just one game, like one in December, one in January, and one in Feb, right? Just one game, they will win the league. Because ultimately, there will be times where Arsenal drop points. There will be times where Man City drop more points. So what Arsenal have to do right now is to win until we are, will to will with this Liverpool vehicle, right? So December last season was disastrous. I hope we can actually better it. On Georgina's comments on Saka's potential, Mikel says they train with him every day. They're in the dressing room with him every day. So for a player, a teammate to have this kind of words, it's always really positive. It shows how much they believe in him and the potential that is in him as well. On players giving Saka the nickname Big Feet, that is a pesudo. I didn't know about that. Mikel says, I've had it a few times. Big feet. Like, I don't know. I've never had it. Has anyone heard of this big feet theory? Because the big foot I know is actually like some kind of monkey that people have been hunting for some time in Australia, the US, the Amazon, and a couple of other areas, I think. On the key performances to the last 3 performances, he says that the reason that's why we performed well, according to Mikel, is that everybody feels important, and we've been in this situation almost from the start of the season, and we've always had to talk about the squad, the importance of everybody feeling important, and the quality that we have within, and that we are going to have to continue to adapt to that, because with the schedule that we have, every 3 days, games until March, it's going to happen. Okay, that's quite impressive. On whether he has known a player come back like Odegaard did, Mikel says, I don't know. I'll have to think about it, but honestly, it doesn't surprise me because the way he looks after himself, the way he was talking, the way he trained, the way he looked a week or two before he already joined the team, it was really sharp. And then, obviously, the team has a huge confidence in him and trust in him. So that's a big that has a big impact as well on how much we rely on him, right? I mean, he's done a lot of quotes. On Saka's input, he says, in terms of the numbers, yes, we've noticed a shift, but we always see a shift in Bukayo. Every single year, he's providing something different, something else. He's adding things to his game. He's more and more consistent. And as you've mentioned, his numbers in terms of impacting goals and assists is incredible at this stage. As well. And of course, comparing him to Ronaldo, it says the look is always good. And probably the way Cristiano started his career and when he joined Manchester United, nobody probably expected him to do that in the first few seasons. But again, it's about his mentality, his work ethic, and how he developed his skill, his chemistry with his team, and to play in a team that has the capacity as well to be dominant and very important. Listen, this season, Arsenal, we are grateful to Saka. Really, really grateful. He's been a monster for us. Like, without Odegaard, without a few creative players, he stood up and, taken things in his own hands. You have that Liverpool game. He was really, really good. He's been, doing a couple of corners for Gabriel, and they've been really, really good. If he can continue like this, probably not until the end of the season, but if he can continue like this until March, right? I think they are very positive signs.